Today, we're going to focus on connecting with the muscles of our deep core. Often when we think about the core, we think about the rectus abdominis, whose fibers run vertically down the front of the body. These are the abs of six-pack fame. But today I want to talk about our deepest core muscles, the transversus abdominis, or TVA. Its fibers run horizontally like a corset that's built into your body. First, we need to locate this muscle. Stand facing a chair about arm's length away, with knees soft and your weight in your heels. With your hands on the back of the chair, press down and feel for the muscles that automatically activate all the way around your core. This won't work very well if you have a low chair back. You wouldn't want anything lower than the one I'm using here. Something about shoulder height would be even better. Press down and release a few times and feel those muscles all the way around your core automatically tighten. After you get used to what that feels like, you can try taking your hands off the chair and tightening the muscles on their own. Now let's take this down to the floor. First, we're going to remind ourselves of how our pelvis can tilt backward so that it flattens our back against the floor, or forward, or because we're laying down, this will be the top of the pelvis coming toward the ceiling, and then we can slide our whole hand under the back. So rock that top of the pelvis posteriorly toward the back or the floor, and then up or forward toward the ceiling. Get a feel for that range. And then we're going to settle in right about in the middle of that range of movement in neutral pelvis. Now, take your hands and find the bony prominence of your hip. And move your fingers in gently, about an inch in and down. Now, tighten that transversus abdominis muscle again. If you're doing this correctly, it won't be sucking in your belly button like you were trying to look skinny in a picture. Instead, you will feel the muscle under your fingers there, just to the inside and down from your hip bones, tighten. Go ahead and do that a few times. Tighten and breathe out. Relax and breathe in. And after you've done this a few times, hold the tension and continue to breathe. If you're having trouble recreating the sensation of tightening your TVA, imagine that a big fat cat is coming to sit on your stomach as you lay here, and you're going to brace so that he doesn't smash your intestines. Or if your house is like mine, maybe your cat will play along and you won't even have to imagine it. Go ahead and keep practicing this. You can hold it for as long as you like. Hold tension there, or you can hold and release. Whatever helps you get used to finding that TVA, that internal corset, and tightening it. Now experiment with pressing your lower back into the floor at the same time. This will be activating that posterior pelvic tilt. Rock your pelvis back toward the floor. And release and repeat. See if you can do that at the same time that your TVA is activated. See if you can memorize the feeling of using these muscles together, because in a moment we'll stand up and take a look at how this affects us in the saddle. Okay, go ahead and stand up and climb onto your imaginary horse. Your knees are soft, your feet are wide, and your weight is in your heels. And let's experiment with tilting that pelvis forward and back again. Now let's see what happens if we settle into an anterior or forward pelvic tilt. So the top of the pelvis is forward and we have that arch in our lower back. What happens happens if we try to post here? We end up with a lot of movement in the lower leg. The knee is under pressure because it's coming forward of the toes, and your lower back is going to ache before long. Now reset yourself. Settle back onto your horse, neutral pelvis. Now post correctly by bringing your pelvis into a posterior tilt as you rise up. Notice how much more still the lower leg is. And now we've removed that strain in the knees and the lower back. Now try tightening your TVA. Brace through that internal corset and try to tilt your pelvis forward and post incorrectly. You can't do it, right? Because your TVA is holding you in correct posture. But try posting with a posterior pelvic tilt the correct way, and you're able to move. Now this might feel or look a little bit stiff while we're doing it here on the ground, but when you're actually on the horse, you probably won't be tightening your TVA as much. It'll be partly activated as you move through loose and together with your horse. Now, as I'm sure you've observed, you have to use your very lowest abdominal muscles in addition to your TVA to post correctly. So let's work on strengthening those. Go ahead and get down on all fours and put an object about the size of a volleyball between your knees and arch up into a cat position. Lift your knees off the floor and really squeeze those lower abdominals in tight. You want your hands underneath your shoulders. You're up on your toes with the ankles flexed. Grip that ball or yoga block between your knees and arch up like a cat. I'll just turn so you can see a different angle here. Keep going. We'll do a few more of these. Really arch up, pull up toward your spine with your lower abs. Do just a few more of these. Squeezing that object between your knees really helps you target the lower end of the abdominal muscles. It's basically an extension of the rectus abdominis, which is those vertical six-pack muscles that run along the front of your stomach. Keeping that yoga block or ball between your knees. Now get on your back and we'll do a reverse crunch. Use those low abs to curl up and lower and curl up and lower. Try to do this with all muscle instead of using momentum to rock back and forth. It can help to cross your ankles. That'll help concentrate the effort right in those lower abs. Relax your neck. Let's do just one more. Good job. Now go ahead and set your ball or block aside. And let's wrap up in a child's pose. Feet together, knees wide, the torso sinks down between the knees, and your hands are outstretched in front of you, forehead on the floor. And now think about breathing deeply all the way into that lower back. Imagine the air coming into the lower back region. Exhale. And inhale into that lower back again. And as you do, feel what's happening in your pelvic floor. Kind of the muscles you would use if you were trying not to pee your pants. As you inhale and bring that air, imagine it coming into your lower back. Feel the movement in your pelvic floor. This is a gentle and surprisingly effective method of strengthening those pelvic floor muscles that sometimes get weak as we age and can even cause us to pee a little bit when we don't mean to. So if you can relax into this, feel your breath, feel those pelvic muscles. We'll just stay here for about another minute. If you're having trouble feeling this in the pelvic floor, try moving your knees closer together, about hip-width apart, with your torso over them, and shift your hands backwards so that your arms lie along your calves. Remember to breathe deep into your lower back and ribs. Explore that feeling. You can do this every day if you like. One more good breath here. Exhale and rise up, and you are done with your primer for today.